Good morning and welcome to another edition of Stand Up for Jehovah. Now, when I was a teenager, about 14 or 15, I had the privilege of contributing my time and effort to the building of the HELLABY Assembly Hall. We weren't going to use the old cinemas and halls that we'd previously used. We were going to have our own, very own custom-built hall. And I think the decision to build the hall up north went like this. Body of elders in a big meeting. Now then, brothers, hast I seen that all them southern fellas have? Aye. Hast I seen them daft castellations they have on it? Aye. Daft southern bastards. Aye. Southern softies. Who do they think they are? We can build a hall better than theirs. Aye. Let's do it, brothers. And so the decision was born to build a northern version of an assembly hall. The first thing we needed to do was collect the money. And a message went round to all the congregations up north to give as much as you could to the building of the hall. Brothers, give us your cash, give us your gold, give us your jewellery, give us your silver. Oh no, don't give us your silver, just give us your gold. Stave your fillings out with a toffee hammer and donate them. Stave your fillings out with a toffee hammer. What did they think we were? Rappers? I'm rapping for Jehovah, rapping day and night. I'm selling you a watchtower and I'll have a spiritual fight. No, we didn't have gold fillings. We weren't rich rappers. We were more like this. Now I go window cleaning to earn an honest bob. For a nosy Parker, it's an interesting job now. It's a job that just suits me. A window cleaner you would be if you didn't have an education, because you're a Jehovah's Witness. So the road sweepers and the cleaners and the bin men of our congregation all contributed their embarrassingly small, pitiful donations. The widow's mite, little bits of jewellery, a gold earring here and a wedding ring there. Yeah, wedding rings, people give the wedding rings in. Love, we've been married 30 years, but I think there's a better use for this piece of shite you bought me than a wedding ring. I'm giving it to Jehovah. Once we'd got the money that we needed, 3 times as much money as we needed, to be quite frank, we then needed the free labour, a fine witness tradition. The trouble with free labour is, what you really need are professionals who know what they're doing, and what you got were hundreds and hundreds of useless know-nothings like me, who just needed a day off the tedium of field service and to have something more interesting to do. So we turned up in our hundreds and hundreds to HELLABY to donate our time with no particular skills. Now it transpires that I was the only person up north that heard this announcement from the platform. The announcement that said you can't wear your jeans if you're going to go and work at HELLABY because it's worldly. Oh dear. I spent about a week trying to figure out how I was going to do this because every pair of trousers I had were jeans. Eventually I hit on a brilliant idea. I'd borrow a pair of my dad's trousers, an old pair of Farrah's, and I'd just winch them up with a big belt. And to top off this beautiful Lowry ensemble, I'd wear one of my dad's shirts as well. And so, as I dragged my sad, sorry body down Bradford Road in this embarrassing outfit, I remember a van driving past me with workmen in it, not Jehovah workmen, just normal ones, and hanging out of the window and mocking me derisively for my strange 1900s get-up. Well, I was quite embarrassed at this point, but when I got to HELLABY, I was even more embarrassed because literally every other person there had jeans on. Every teenager looked cool. Some of them had makeup on. Some of them looked like they were going out clubbing. I just looked like a twat. This wouldn't have been too bad, but there was a group of really cool brothers there. Brothers from exotic lands like Manchester and Liverpool, and they had exotic accents, and they were still Jehovah's Witnesses. They still knew what the watchtower was. They'd still been out door knocking, but they were just unbearably cool. And as I hovered round the periphery, round the very outside edge of this inner sanctum of coolness, as these brothers did utterly cool things, I just knew that there was no point me even trying to get close to them. And so I sloped off to the other side of the site to find an ignominious job to do. At the other side of the site, there was a little corner for ignominious people like me. You know, the ones that never get picked in PE matches at school. The kid that stinks of piss, the kid that wears glasses, and me. So we formed a little group and we were given some pathetic job to do that really didn't need doing. It was the equivalent of rock breaking in a gulag in Siberia. Just break them rocks, and when you've broken them up, move them to that side, and when you've got them to that side, move them back again. We've got so many people here, we don't know what to do with you all. So our job was to move these enormous galvanised ductwork pipes from one side of the site to the other. And it was quite a difficult job because the edges of the pipes were real sharp and cut your hands, and of course neither me nor the kid that stank like piss nor the kid that wore glasses had any gloves on us. And so we had to kind of shuffle and pick them up and put them down and pick them up and put them down and get them round as best we could. And it took us about 4 hours to move maybe 3 pieces of these big pipework things across site. And then we had lunch. And then after lunch, a cool brother came along, probably wearing jeans, probably had sunglasses on as well, trendy ones, probably had gel in his hair, I seem to recall. And he rocked up with a dumper truck and gloves, I suspect, and he picked every single piece of that pipework in his dumper truck and drove it round to the other side of the site and pitched it down with a flourish. And it took him about 10 minutes, and it made me feel about that big. And that big brother's was about 3 millimetres smaller than I felt when I went out on field service. I just felt utterly useless, pointless, and an extra from a Lowry film. And so I didn't really go very much more because I just felt I'd marked my cards as the wanky kid and everybody would know me, and when I turned up on site, all the cool brothers would probably point and laugh and go, "Oh look, the wanky kid's come again." So I wasn't going to put myself through that anymore. I was just going to go out on field service like I was used to. And so the HELLABY Assembly Hall got built. And I remember the first year, the jobs that you could volunteer to do were pretty cool. The first year, when we had lunch, the brothers and sisters, young ones, used to dress up as waiters in black and serve all the food. It was dead cool. And then the second year, they kicked that into touch, and the jobs that were available were scrubbing the oil from the bricks in the car park from brothers' shitty old cars. And that just wasn't such a cool job at all. But HELLABY was built, and it was ours. And even though it didn't have castellations, it was newer than the hall that them daft southern bastards had. Thank you for watching another episode of Stand Up for Jehovah.